again from the third floor ballroom at Sage Restaurant in downtown Sarasota. What a beautiful space, and it could be yours. Just ask. Today's show is, as always, a mix of some serious topics and some fun. We'll be meeting Vickie Oldham, who will be telling us about what she and her organization have been doing in Newtown. And we'll learn about a new venture for the Sarasota African American Cultural Center, a new building right here in Sarasota. Later, Beneva Fruitville has some Halloween costume and makeup tips. Plus, Ariel Blue introduces us to a spot here in Sarasota where you might not have visited yet, but you should. But first, something a bit more serious. Whether you know someone, close to someone, or you're living with breast cancer, it's a disease that touches the lives of millions of Americans. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and with me are two people who deal with it on a daily basis. We want to take a moment to learn about this disease, what's being done to help patients, and where to get support and help. Carrie Lewis is an Assistant Vice President of Sable Palm Bank and a board member of the Sarasota chapter of the American Cancer Society. She's also a breast cancer survivor. Bethany Lynch is the Senior Development Manager of the American Cancer Society here in Florida. Bethany, let's start with you. The American Cancer Society does a lot to obviously help people dealing with cancer and their families, but they also are involved with research. Tell me about that.
So everybody knows that the American Cancer Society funds research, right? So that's one of the things we're known for. Currently, as of August 2021, we're actually funding $71 million in breast cancer research, 153 studies. And one of those particular studies is looking at the PTK6 gene and how it affects the triple negative breast cancer. So by looking at that and being able to figure out the link and targeting that, we can maybe make some impact in the spread of the triple negative breast cancer. So that's one of the harder to treat ones with a lot less research to it right now, and less treatment. So that's one of the things we're doing right now, but that's only one of the 153. So a scientist I am not, but know that we are every day making strides and getting somewhere in this disease.
Well, what you do is so important too, even aside from all the science, which is super important as well. You mean you're bringing awareness to it, so that's a big deal. So thank you for doing that, Bethany. Also, we were talking earlier before we were filming about breast cancer affecting the LGBTQIA+ community. Is there anything we should know about that?
Absolutely. So the gay and lesbian and transgender, the LGBTQ community, they are at a higher risk because women, if you don't have children or don't breastfeed, you have a higher risk of breast cancer. Also, because of discrimination, a lot of women are not getting their screenings for their mammograms, so they become at a higher risk for that as well.
Wow, that's a lot. And what role does your organization play in helping people who have been diagnosed with breast cancer? Because we're going to talk to Carrie later, and she's a breast cancer survivor. So what are some of the things you can do for people who have just realized or just found out they have a diagnosis?
Yes, so it's a very scary time. I know Carrie will tell you about that. But the first thing you want to do is you want to reach out to the American Cancer Society, because our National Cancer Information Center is available to all patients anywhere, any time of the day, 24/7, every day of the year. So you can call our 800 number, you can get a person at any time and talk to them about what your diagnosis is, what kind of treatment you're going to go through, just a compassionate ear to talk about the questions you might have, your loved ones might have as well. You might not want to bother somebody in the middle of the night. You can reach out to these people at any time. And also, again, here in the community, in every community, we will help people get rides to their treatment. If they can't get to treatment, they can't get better. We will also help people that need to travel for their treatment. I'm talking travel to Tampa. We have a Hope Lodge in Tampa that you can stay for free, because we live 40 miles outside of the radius. So that is a service that is provided to anybody in this community. Also help with dealing with side effects and the emotional side effects of cancer. So we're available to everyone 24/7.
That's amazing, of course. Now, Carrie, when were you diagnosed?
September of 2015.
Wow. Now, is there a history of breast cancer in your family?
Not of breast cancer, but a lot of cancer in my family. So my dad died at 42 of lung cancer. So, and I had his brother died at 52 of a different type of cancer. So there's a lot of history in my family. So breast cancer was not, I was the first diagnosed in my family. But then 2 years later, my sister was diagnosed.
Wow.
So she's 12 years younger than I am, but she was diagnosed with the same type and the same spot that I was.
Now, how did you react to this? I mean, I can imagine, but I just want to know from, I know our
Very
viewers wanna
scary.
know.
Like Bethany said, you have to reach out to people that have been through it and understand it. So the first time that I heard about it, that I was diagnosed, a doctor called me and just said, hey, it was a matter of fact, you're diagnosed with breast cancer. And the thought of that and then just the devastation is overwhelming. So what I did, I was like, wow, he just doesn't even care about that. So I had to find a doctor that cared. So I did find an oncologist that referred me to a surgeon that referred me to another surgeon. So you have to get somebody that cares about it because it is so common, and some doctors they just think it's normal, when they're telling you that, but it's devastating to you. So you have to reach out to people that have been through it, that are caring and loving and kind. So that's what I did.
And how are you doing now?
I'm doing great.
I love it.
You know what? I'm one of the blessed few that have not had any reoccurrence, because I've had many friends that went through it and have had reoccurrence in other places. So I feel blessed.
What's the most important thing you want women to know about breast cancer if they don't know it already?
You know what? Make sure you get your mammogram.
Yes.
That is the only thing that I can tell you that helped me, because I was forced to do it. I was like a lot of other women. I don't want to do it. I'm putting it off. And then I didn't have one for a couple of years, and then I was diagnosed. So please, women, do it.
Do it. Now, Bethany, when do you recommend, when does the American Cancer Society, when do they recommend for people to get their mammograms?
So the recommendations are for people that have no history of breast cancer. So this is considered your average risk, right? No history of breast cancer, no BRCA gene, no chest radiation before the age of 30. So for that population of people, you can start getting a mammogram if you want, between 40 and 44 every year if you want. But definitely between 45 and 54, you should get a mammogram every year at that point. And then from 55 on, you can go to every other year if you want, or you can continue every year. But most important thing is talk to your doctor about it, what their recommendation is, because they might know a risk factor that you have that you don't, that you're not aware of.
Some people, I have a very good friend who works at Moffitt Cancer Center, and they work in the breast cancer department, and they have seen men come in with breast cancer. Is there anything that people should know about that? I know it's not, I know it doesn't happen all the time, but I've been reading that it is increasing. It
is increasing, and it does happen, of course. So with that one, I think it's certainly more of a self-exam and being aware of at that point and knowing your body and talking to your doctor. It's that relationship with the doctor as well. But 1 in 8 women get breast cancer, but by the time they feel the symptom of it, they might already be further along. So get the screenings. And during COVID, we had so many people put their screenings off. And so the real big initiative right now is just getting people back on schedule, getting them back into their routine, and getting those mammograms, because even just 6 months can make a difference.
It absolutely can. Gosh, I want to thank both of you for being here. Great talk about something really important for people. And I'm so glad you're doing well.
Thank you.
And thank you for telling your story. For more information on the American Cancer Society, check out cancer.org. Up next, we'll get a sneak peek at a new African American Community Center and History Center right here in Sarasota. Sarasota is made up of many vibrant and unique neighborhoods that each have their own histories and style. Among them is Newtown. For over a century, this neighborhood has been home to African American residents and businesses. Vickie Oldham has been involved with the Newtown Alive for several years and is now the CEO and president of Sarasota African American Cultural Center. And Brock Leach, who is a member of the board of SAACC. Vickie, tell us about the SAACC vision. It's a relatively new organization, right?
It is. I can say that we started it at about 2019, organized that nonprofit. It is it was developed out of the Newtown Alive project. The city of Sarasota contracted me to document the history of the Newtown community. They were celebrating 100 years. And so we started out with the development of a very thick
Look at that.
research report, okay? And then it developed into a book.
Right.
There's an historic marker, well, 15 historic markers, a website, mobile app, a heritage trail. We do trolley tours. And I said to city commissioners, it is time for an African American art center and history museum so that we can really place all of these resources inside, and that the city of Sarasota, the residents, county residents, city residents, tourists can come and engage with this history.
Yeah, that's exciting. Now, Brock, you're on the board.
I
And
am.
that has to be really terrific, too.
Oh,
Are you
it's
excited
phenomenal.
about the direction that you see things heading in?
Well, you know, Sarasota is a cultural destination
Yeah.
for people from around the country and even around the world. And yet there's a hidden treasure trove of culture here in Sarasota in the African American community and history. And so part of our notion is, how do we introduce our entire local community, but how do we introduce the nation to what we have here? Because it could be another gem in the cultural crown of Sarasota.
Absolutely. And it'll be a center for people to visit. What will happen there? What kind of things will we be
my.
able to see?
So glad that you asked.
Yes.
There'll be a permanent exhibit. We're working with the theme now from beach to beach, from the beaches of Africa through that transatlantic slave trade to the beaches of Lido Beach, because there was a big stand for beach integration. And so we believe that tourists, after they visit our sparkling, wonderful, world-class beaches, they'll want to hear some history about how those beaches became open to everyone. Some people had to take a stand and make some sacrifices in order to open those beaches to black and brown and differently abled people. It's a wonderful and rich history.
Right. And let's talk a little bit about the history of African Americans in Sarasota.
Well, they came here early. 1884, Lewis Colson came with a surveying party, Richard Polson, to plat the original town of Sarasota. I had no idea that an African American drove the first stake into the ground at 5 Points to begin that platting process. I always tell the guests on the tour, had I known that as I was growing up as a little girl, I think I would have been way more confident to know this. But anyway, Lewis Colson came. He and Irene Colson are the only African Americans buried in the historic Rosemary Cemetery. And then there's Leonard Reed. Leonard Reed, I had no idea that I had any connection to Leonard Reed until I started this project in 2015. Well, Leonard Reed came here in 1900. He was on his way to Cuba with some Italian fishermen, he said in an oral histories that he shared with his daughter. Stopped by Sarasota, the black community that was located in the downtown area called Overtown. He stopped, there was a party going on. He stayed too long. He stayed too long. The boat left him.
Oh, gosh.
So he was here to make a life for himself. Well, he did odd jobs, and then the people recognized that he was an educated man. They were right. He was valedictorian of Savannah Normal School. And so they introduced him to Colonel John Gillespie, who became the first mayor of Sarasota. Leonard became Colonel Gillespie's right-hand man. He ran his household. He met his wife at the colonel's house. They married and moved out, and they have a little 1,400 square feet house. Well, SAACC is going to occupy that little house. And guess what, Matt? His daughters, Viola and Ethel, ran a little daycare center. I was a student. They were my first teachers. Wow. they were my first teachers. They taught me the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. So that is my connection
That's great.
to Leonard. And so here it is now, so many years later, and I'm going to be running a little art center and history museum in his house and in my teacher's house.
Oh.
So, you know, we're going to take really good care of the house. We're going to have lectures, book signings, demonstrations, workshops, exhibitions, small ones, because as I said, it's a small little place.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a very, very special place where children in the neighborhood and residents from all over can come inside and feel the love of the Reeds, because I tell you, his daughters were quite loving to all of us.
That's great. It's so easy to be passionate about this because of that wonderful connection you have.
Yeah.
So it's just an amazing story, you know.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now?
For me personally, Brock can tell his own challenges, but for me personally, I am a former journalist. We get an assignment in the morning, and by 4 o'clock, you're heading back to the newsroom to edit it and have it on the air by 5 or 6.
Sure.
So I'm accustomed to things happening very, very quickly and fast. And I am challenged because projects like this
It takes some time. It really does.
take time. They don't happen very fast.
True.
So I'm having to just kind of, you know, just calm myself down and go through the process, particularly when you're dealing with a municipal government too. Things don't work like that. Things have to go through the various channels. So I'm learning. I'm learning. Now, Brock, what challenges do you think?
Well, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean, of course there are challenges, and if you let us know some of that, and also let us know how people can get involved and help.
Sure. Well, so one of Vickie's many talents is that she is enthusiastic and will talk to anybody who's interested in this project and invite them to participate. And so it's a big embrace of people from all over the community, which is why at the City Commission meeting, you know, it was standing room only, and we had people from every aspect of the community show up and speak for this project. Well, I think what we need most is we need people to help us tell the word, you know, share what's going on, invite people into the process. We're talking to a number of organizations to be partners in the coalition. I think we have about 40 so far and more on the way, mostly to get the word out of what's possible and to bring people into the work. We have a little money to raise down the road, but we have people coming forward with you know, seed money to help us get started, you know, beyond what the city's done, quite a ways beyond. So it's really exciting, I think, for people who want to get involved. If you have a club that we can speak to, if you're part of an organization, if you want to take a group on a trolley tour, we do custom versions of that just to get people really close to the history and the potential of the project.
That's great. I know it's going to take some time, but it's well worth it. It's worth the wait.
It is, Matt.
I can't wait.
This little light of mine,
That's right.
I'm gonna let it shine.
That's very true.
This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine. I love that.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Oh my goodness. What great guests today. You both, it's beautiful. You both are shined today. I want to thank you both so much for being here. We're looking forward to seeing your community center come to life in the coming months and years. If you'd like to learn more about Newtown and the SAACC, you can check out their website, the SAACC.com. When we come back, another new creative project here in Sarasota, a Festival of the Arts. And heading this up will be a familiar face to so many in the arts community. We will be right back. Sarasota is known as a cultural center on the Gulf Coast, but until now, there hasn't been any organization dedicated to creating a comprehensive arts festival. Until now. With me is my friend, Jeffery was taking on the new role with a new Festival of the Arts organization. He was, and still is, he'll tell you, the producing artistic director at the Players Center for 15 years. And is that even possible? We're still young men. Now, I want you to tell me a little bit about how you got involved with this project, and tell me about the idea sort of driving the Sarasota Festival of the Arts.
Well, it's kind of strange. I was in a meeting for something complete that had nothing to do with anything. And the gentleman said, Jeffery, I know you know everyone. And I think you might know of somebody that we can talk to. We would like to create a citywide arts festival. We would like it downtown driven. The DID is going to support it and blah, blah, blah. And we need someone that's conscientious, that understands arts. And they kept talking about this person over, and all these qualities that they were looking for. And then I guess I was very proud of myself that at some point I just went like this and raised my hand. And I said, I think you just described me.
Yeah.
And they were like, what?
Right.
And I was like, you just described me to the T. This is something that I think I could do. And they're like, well, we never thought you would, leave the Players. I'm like, well, this sounds like an excellent idea.
Yes.
Let's talk more. And that's exactly how it happened.
And you're still with the Players right now.
Yes.
And you're also you're basically working on the festival right now, even though you don't start officially until a little bit.
October 1st is the start of the fiscal year.
Yes.
Contracts, and of course, the Players has always been and will always be near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, community theater, I was raised in community theater.
Me too.
And it's part of my life, and it will always be a part of my life. But sometimes when an opportunity comes along where you can affect more people and engage more arts groups and make a bigger difference in your community. And I think as you age, you do start to look for those ways of, well, how can I make this better? How can I help more people? I mean, I know that sounds kind of strange, I guess.
Not really, but yeah.
But, when we're in the entertainment field, we like to make people happy, and we would like to make that as broad of a net as possible. So the idea of a festival, which has been tried various times by various sets of people over the years, but never from a business angle. So this is the Downtown Improvement District investing in basically my salary and handing me an idea and then stepping away and saying, make this happen. You have 3 years, and their point is valid. Sarasota has everything.
Yeah.
And it's all there. Somebody just has to organize it and make it make sense and make it viable so that it can continue. Yeah. So that's just the little thing that I have to do over the next few years.
Yes.
I'm going to be with the Players through the end of the spring. Right. June probably is the kickoff date for when I'll have a replacement.
Wow.
For the artistic director position, but then full-time festival. And I got to tell you, it has garnered so much attention.
It has.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. And I think what's happening is people realize that it's overdue.
Yeah.
And we are the perfect place to do it. So why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
exactly. Well, you've also made the Players such a great success. It's been around for a very long time, but under your tenure, a lot of great and amazing things have happened. So I think that's a combination of being excited about the festival, but also being excited about your association with it. I know I've worked at a theater company for a long time too. It'll be about 10 years very soon, and you become very, your identity becomes locked into this theater company. Yep. And I often think about what would be my next step too. So I'm sort of fascinated to watch you do this. I think you're going to thrive. But is there a little bit, like it's wistful, isn't it? Like there's a little bit, what's it going to feel like to leave the Players,
It was interesting.
Yeah.
We were in a Zoom meeting and we were trying to talk about, and my departure came up, and then the new building in Lakewood Ranch came up, which I have been working on
forever.
For 4 years now, almost 5 years. And my voice broke because I said, well, when we open at Waterside, I will, and somebody said, don't go there, because of course I wear my emotions on my sleeve like everyone else does. But that has been, I've been on the ground floor of the plans for Waterside all these years, and I got to tell you, I will be there at the ribbon cutting. I will remain a cheerleader, and then I'll probably ask, why those design changes were made.
Of course you will. Of course you will. But what's funny? It's great because when you're doing this festival, it's kind of interesting too, because in a way you're going to be an advocate for so many different places, including the Players. So it's still part of your...
It is. I mean, I kind of feel like, and I keep saying this to my patrons, I'm not going far.
Yeah.
I'm still here. You know, I'm still going to be a part, and here's something else that no one's ever thought of, but when you're in management, it's very hard to be the actor. Yeah. And Jeffery started off as an actor, and I haven't really been able to be an actor, so I have a feeling what my patrons are gonna see is that I can actually do a show.
Yes,
So,
which is great.
So you're gonna lose me as an artistic director, but then you're going to see me, hopefully, on stage, which would be nice.
It's going to be great for you, too. It really feeds the soul, you know, especially this way you start. But I think a lot of us who start in acting think, well, we need this other gig, too, because we want to, we want to have a life, and, we want to settle and find a home, you know, and that's kind of what happens.
Oh, my mom and dad were so happy that I got a real job in the arts.
Me, too.
Which is what it was all about. But then, of course, the husband came along, and now he's looking at those 40, 50, 60-hour work weeks.
I know.
And he's like, honey, and he's Brazilian, so there's the, you're going to come home right now.
Yes,
I
it's
will.
very different. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I understand that.
It's time to eat.
What's the timeline for the first festival?
So, in all sincerity, we've been handed an idea, and the first 6 to 8 months is just all about ideas. And I don't want to quell or stop any idea from coming. I've started a festival startup group. We're going to be meeting mid-October, and we're literally going to look at what could this festival be, what should it be, when should it be, and then what should we call it?
Yeah.
So there's nothing done, and it's all on my plate. So that's basically the first half year, almost full year. And then it's communicating with the arts groups and starting to figure out what the calendar could look like so that, I'm not on anyone's 5-year plan right now. And I know, as most theaters, we plan ahead.
We do.
Years in advance. So I want to be able to come up with a timeline that most arts organizations will be able to just produce. All they have to do is produce something fabulous in the timeline that we all kind of agree to. That's the hope. And then I'm also excited for the fact that I get to produce maybe something and maybe bring in some talent, bring in some names, bring in something that's going to help put Sarasota on the map.
Right. That's great.
More than it is.
Even more than it is.
Right.
Especially for the arts. That is very exciting, and you're the perfect person to do it.
Well, thank you.
You really are.
I've heard that. I've gotten lots of pats on the back.
Yes.
I do tend to be consensus driven. I do tend to get along with almost everybody.
You do?
Almost everybody.
Almost?
I mean, I get along with you.
Yes, I know. Which we've heard. I'm just
a challenge.
Everybody thinks I'm Ellen DeGeneres, but I am.
No.
Like on there, I'm like, hey, I'm happy, and then backstage, I'm yelling at everybody.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I know.
It's not true.
He's a great guy.
It's not true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is great. Jeffrey, this is a great idea.
Thank
It sounds
you.
so wonderful.
Yep.
I'm so thrilled for you, and I can't wait to keep an eye on it. And who knows? I might just put on a gown and show up. You never know.
Well, you know what? And I might put on the gown with you.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you and me as the old ladies in Arsenic and Old Lace. That's a hit.
A hit in the making.
That's printing money. I love it. Speaking of wonderful, speaking of printing money, she doesn't do this. That's counterfeiting, but she is wonderful. The wonderful Ariel Blue shows us a delicious spot next, and the ever so spooky Beneva Fruitville shares some Halloween costumes. You don't want to miss that. The one and only Ariel Blue has a treat for us today. Another place to enjoy brunch or practically any meal.
Hi, Matt. I am standing at one of the premier rooftop bars in Sarasota. Can you guess? You've probably been here before. I'm at Art Ovation Hotel Rooftop Bar, and I am with Mr. Stevie Sorrentini. He is a beverage specialist. And we'll be talking about a few treats that he has for us. Isn't that right, Stevie?
Absolutely.
But first, let's get into these drinks. So you have a fall menu, yes? That's coming very soon.
Yes, actually it's already rolled out. We rolled out our fall menu just last week. So we have a lot of new cocktails.
So we're right on time. Matthew, hurry, get here now. So before we get there, because I'm very thirsty, parched, in fact, before I drink, I do like to eat. And I understand that at the bar, well, not at this bar, but at the hotel, there's brunch downstairs. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm told, see, I've been there before, Matthew, so this is a repeat. I'm a repeat offender. Downstairs, you can actually get brunch from 7 a.m. till 2, but the rooftop bar doesn't open until 11. So if you're an early bird like me, eat first, have a wonderful brunch downstairs at Overture, and head right on up to this bar and get some of these great drinks that Stevie will be making for us in this new fall menu.
Yeah.
So what is the name of like one of the first ones?
Call me old fashioned.
Call me old fashioned. I don't
Yes.
care for the name too much. I'm very new school, but I'll take an old fashioned drink. Tell me about it.
So it's gonna be coconut rum with black walnut bitters
Ooh.
and apricot brandy.
Okay, apricot brandy.
Yes.
I'm interested. I want to see you make this up for me.
All right.
This apricot brandy sounds delightful. Very fall, in fact.
Yes.
With the colors, orange and brown, very reminiscent. And the weather is perfect up here this time of year. Seriously, if you're not here at this rooftop bar, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Oh, now see, that says Coconut Cartel.
Coconut
Okay.
Cartel rum. It's actually one of my favorite rums right now.
Is it?
Yes. Infused with coconut water, so it's not real sweet. So it's just perfect for a fall cocktail.
And is this the apricot bitters?
So this was the apricot brandy that I
Okay,
put in there.
okay.
Then now I'm just gonna add some black walnut bitters.
Black walnut bitters.
So we're gonna just do 3 dashes.
Okay. Ice, of course.
Ice, gotta have ice.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that smells amazing. That smells so good. I'm excited. Yeah, stir it up.
Give it
Stir
a nice couple stirs.
Magic. Magic is being made right now.
All right, then we're gonna pour it on the big, nice ice cube.
Ooh. Look at that. Beauty, beauty. And this is Call Me Old Fashioned.
Call me old fashioned.
It's probably, so is this like a fall favorite?
Right now, that is.
It is?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Oh, let's smoke it first.
You're gonna smoke it for?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm interested, Stevie. Of course. A little smoke never hurt anybody.
Yeah, just
Is
a
this a
little bit.
smoking bar up here?
No, it's
No?
not. No.
So this is the only type of smoking that will be done on this rooftop, okay? In this machine. Oh. Okay. Ooh, doggy. Maple wood chips into the smoker. Look at that. That is beautiful. And it doesn't take long.
Doesn't take long at all.
Wow. And so I get like a nice woodsy flavor in the drink. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Whoa. And now this Call Me Old Fashioned is ready. Here we go. Ooh. I taste the bitters. I like that. I like that a lot, Matthew. You're jealous. I know. I know you are. So this is one of the fall drinks.
Yes.
What are the others?
Oh, so we also have the Mockingbird.
The Mockingbird.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we also have Big Papa.
What is Big Papa? What is that about?
That's going to be our Brooklyn gin
Okay.
with a little bit of golden Flarium, Aperol, and some orange juice and pineapple juice. It's going to be served over crushed ice.
I like that, Big Papa. I like that a lot. So that's gin. This is brandy. If you light alcohol, dark alcohol, whatever it is, Art Ovation has it, and Stevie, the beverage specialist, can make it for you. So to recap, come to Art Ovation, eat downstairs at Overture, head right on up to the bar and check out one of the many fall drinks that they have. Super easy. Did I get everything right?
Yes.
And besides that, you get a beautiful view of the skyline of Sarasota and the bay. Matthew, I know you wish you were here, but it's okay. It's only a car ride away. Come on down. And I'm throwing it back to you, but not this drink. I'll be throwing this back.
Ariel, you did it again. I definitely want to check that out. I'm hungry just thinking about it. Beneva Fruitville is going all out for Halloween this year. She's got some spooky makeup and costume ideas.
Hi there, it's your good pal, Miss Beneva Fruitville, Sarasota's hometown girl, and it's our spooktacular Halloween. Get ready with me, tips and tricks with Miss Beneva Fruitville. So today, I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks that you can find around your house, things that you already have in order to get ready for Halloween. You know, you're a busy mom, you're a busy dad, you're a busy, I don't know, non-binary person, we love you, and you're running around the house and it's Halloween, oh my gosh, I have to get ready. So I'm gonna show you some things that you can do with stuff already around your house to help you get ready quickly for Halloween. So one of the first tricks that we're gonna talk about today is glitter. Glitter is Halloween mistletoe, if you like that. So one of the products that I like to use is like a glitter like eyeshadow stick, and you can use it anywhere. So for instance, like here, if you take it and you spread it out, it can go on your cheeks as a highlight, it can go on your lips as a glitter on top, as a glitter overlay. So glitter is always your best friend. Now, here's another great tip. Your liquid eyeliner. This one's specifically in silver to kind of match what we were doing with the silver glitter. That's going to pop out any kind of like eye makeup that you're already doing. Say you come from work and you have your regular day makeup on. Just throw in some colored eyeliner and that's gonna make that pop. And here's a little trick for eyeliner. When you do your eyeliner, and I'm gonna pull out my mirror for this because Lord knows I need the mirror. When you do your eyeliner, you want to do it from the corner of your eye and pull it directly in the same direction that your eye shape is already going in. So you're following that line. See how that already pops? Yeah. All right. So here's another trick that I'm going to tell you about that has to do with that good old-fashioned ghost sheet costume. You know, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna wear, so I'm just gonna grab an old bed sheet and throw it over my head and cut out eyes. Well, here's what you can do with that good old-fashioned bed sheet. Make the hole bigger so it goes around your head. Take any kind of elastic belt that you may have around your house and cinch it and belt it. And then you're in a fabulous gown. You can pull it off the shoulder, go for an 80s vibe. It's a great thing to do with the bed sheet. Now, here is another one of my secrets. Everywhere I go, especially on Halloween because you're outside a lot, I take my fan. You need this accessory, girl, let me tell you. Because if you are outside picking up candy from strangers, which don't do that by the way, you need to cool off. You need to, make sure that your healthy glow is not a pouring down outpour. So yes, make sure you have your fan. And then the final tip that I have for you this Halloween spooky season is to take any one of your favorite eyeshadows. And so for instance, I have this little palette right here. It's a very neutral palette. So I'm gonna take a shade and let's say that you want to do an all around face look. You can do that with eyeshadow. Just take a big brush and you'll use it across the entirety of the skin. So it changes the tone of your skin. So sometimes I am the Green Witch from The Wizard of Oz, and I do that all with green eyeshadow. It just tints the skin enough, but doesn't make you like have to cover your whole skin in like grease paint. So those are my spooktacular tips and tricks for this holiday Halloween season, the gay Christmas as I like to call it. I hope you've gotten some good info from this. and I'll see you next time.
Beneva, you look fabulous. Nobody does spooky quite like you. Thanks so much, as always, for being here with us. We appreciate your support and viewership. The Brunch Show started in December 2020 during the COVID pandemic, and we've grown from an audience of about 1,000 people to nearly 30,000. And we have you to thank for that success. We've covered a lot today, and we hope you've learned a little and enjoyed what we've been able to share. A special thank you to our guests who shared their stories. And of course, a big thank you to the Community Foundation of Sarasota County for their generous grant and Project Pride SRQ. I'm Matthew McGee, and we'll see you next time.